All right, let's dive right into this explainer and talk about a trap I guarantee almost all of us have fallen into. We're going to figure out why 90% of us end up completely abandoning our digital habit trackers. And more importantly, how to build a routine that actually sticks. Look, we've all seen them, right? Those perfectly color-coded, intensely complex digital dashboards that basically promise to turn us into superhuman productivity machines overnight. But if we're being completely honest with ourselves, most of us have a massive digital graveyard of abandoned tracking systems sitting right next to our unused gym memberships. So today, we're going to unpack exactly why these systems break down, the hidden psychology of habit guilt, and the surprisingly simple, low-stress setups you can use instead.
I mean, we all start out with the absolute best intentions, don't we? We watch some inspiring tutorial online, download these shiny new templates to organize our entire lives, and meticulously type out every single little thing we want to achieve. We're convinced that this new digital framework is going to be the magic bullet. But why do these systems almost always collapse within just a few short weeks? Well, spoiler alert, the core issue isn't that you lack discipline. Not at all. The real issue is that the tool you're using is fundamentally fighting against how your brain actually forms habits.
Think about it. When you download a habit tracker, you are essentially sold this dream of a 100% success rate. You imagine these flawless, unbroken streaks of green check marks just spanning across your calendar for months on end. But the reality? Well, the reality is that complex tracking systems usually just add incredible friction to your day. You literally end up spending more time managing the system than actually doing the habits. And what are you left with? Abandoned pages, overwhelming complexity, and this heavy, lingering sense of guilt every single time you open the app.
One of the absolute biggest culprits here is what we call the micro-habit trap. We fall into the cycle of trying to track every tiny, microscopic habit. Things like drinking exactly 8 glasses of water, reading 10 pages, or even just brushing our teeth. We end up visually turning our natural, everyday lives into a massive, overwhelming checklist. Sure, checking off that you drank water might give you a tiny fake dopamine hit in the moment, but come on. You don't need a complex database to remember to hydrate. You just need a glass sitting on your desk. By doing this, you're basically turning your existence into administrative data entry.
And this frustrated comment from a productivity community really hits the nail on the head. They said, "Stop trying to do habit trackers. These things don't work and just give you more work than before." It's so true. When you use a digital tool to micromanage your life, you are basically hiring yourself as your own micromanaging boss. You're creating extra work just to record the work you already did. I mean, that is a guaranteed recipe for instant burnout.
And honestly, this micromanagement exacts a really heavy psychological toll. As another user pointed out, the very second you miss one single day, it triggers this crushing first miss guilt. The pressure of seeing a broken streak or just staring at an empty red checkbox is so intense that it literally makes you want to delete the whole system entirely just to get a clean slate. Instead of motivating you, the tracker becomes a source of shame, demanding perfection in a world that is, by nature, totally unpredictable.
So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that overtracking everyday tasks creates unnecessary friction. And friction is the ultimate enemy of actually getting things done. Every extra click, every database you have to wait to load up, every tag you have to perfectly apply, it's a barrier between you and your actual life. If it takes you 3 minutes to log a 5-minute meditation session, your friction ratio is completely broken.
If we actually take a step back and look at how human habits form from a psychological standpoint, they rely on a really simple loop. It's just a cue, a routine, and a reward. So for example, your alarm goes off. That's the cue. You put on your running shoes, the routine. You get that great endorphin rush, the reward. Notice what is noticeably absent from that loop, a complex digital database. Habits are neurological pathways in your brain, not spreadsheet entries. They absolutely do not naturally require a tracking app to function. When we stack a complex tracker directly against the simple system, the emotional difference is just staggering. A complex setup forces you to focus on tracking every tiny micro-habit across multiple linked databases, which just leads right back to that high first miss guilt. But a simple system? It uses unified tasks and maybe a basic journal, all living on a single dashboard page. It gives you a much healthier, low-pressure approach that actually adapts to your fluid routines rather than forcing you into a rigid, unforgiving box.
So, what's the actual fix here? Well, a highly effective alternative is what's known as the minimal one-page setup. Instead of having separate, disjointed pages for your habits, your long-term goals, your reading list, and your chores, you keep just your active tasks, your current projects, and a basic calendar on a single, unified screen.
By bringing everything onto one page, you completely eliminate the mental load of navigating through a labyrinth of folders just to figure out what on earth you need to do today.
If you want to pull off this frictionless workflow, it's actually super straightforward. Just follow these 4 steps. First off, take a deep breath and just delete those overly complex tracking templates. Seriously, let them go. Second, create just 2 top-level pages, one for work and one for personal. Third, stop having random orphan to-dos. Unify them by dragging tasks directly under your active projects. And finally, manage your daily items using a simple weekly calendar tab. You just drag a task into Monday or Tuesday, and then you actually do it. No databases required.
Another absolute game changer for cutting out friction and killing habit guilt is the PARA method. This was popularized by productivity expert Tiago Forte, and PARA stands for Projects, Areas, Resources, and Archives. What's brilliant about this system is that it structures your digital life based on actionability rather than endless daily tracking. It completely reframes how we think about the things we're supposed to do every day.
This is honestly the key to fixing your whole mindset. You have to separate your projects from your areas. Projects are short-term efforts with a hard deadline, like, say, launching a new website. Areas, on the other hand, are ongoing standards you maintain, like your physical health or your finances. Instead of feeling guilty for not clicking a health checkbox every single day, treat it as an ongoing area of responsibility. You don't fail at health just because you missed a day. It's simply a standard you are continually maintaining over time. This whole minimalist vibe aligns perfectly with the popular 5-minute productivity system approach. The core idea here is that managing your organizational system should take absolutely no more than 5 minutes a day. You simply plan your day, drag your tasks over to your calendar, block out your distractions, and get straight to work. You are not wasting precious time logging every single sip of water or page you read. You're using that time to actually, live your life.
To get rid of even more barriers in your day-to-day life, you can optimize your mobile experience to build truly frictionless routines. I highly recommend putting note widgets directly on your phone's home screen. This lets you instantly capture ideas or tasks with just one tap, routing them to a general inbox so you can sort them later. The golden rule here? Never ever open full, complex databases on your phone while you're on the go. Capture fast, organize later.
At the end of the day, productivity experts all basically agree on this one undeniable truth. The best system is the one you actually return to daily. The rest of the details are completely secondary. Listen, it does not matter if you have the most brilliantly engineered, automated, beautifully color-coded workspace in the entire world. If you dread opening it because it makes you feel guilty or overwhelmed, that is a failed system. Simplicity is always going to win in the long run.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought to help you evaluate your own routines. Does your digital system actually simplify your life, or is it just trying to control it? If your tracker is giving you way more stress than actual success, it is probably time to hit delete and embrace a simpler, frictionless approach. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and let's go start building systems that actually serve us.